It is Sunday, September 11th of 2016. I'm in front of the Unitarian Church of Montreal protesting Unitarian Universalist cover-up and denial of all forms of clergy abuse. That's former church president John Inder going in. He walked right past my chalk slogans, didn't even have a second look at them. Oh, look, here comes the husband of the minister coming out. So that's Mr. David Rollert, and I'm not quite sure what he's up to. Oh, he's changing the wayside pulpit. So here we have David Rollert changing the wayside pulpit, which currently is about truth and reconciliation. So maybe they're not so interested in truth and reconciliation anymore, as I've pointed out how everything written on that is basically betrayed by their actual behavior towards me and other people. Now, it's true that what's written there is specifically about truth and reconciliation in terms of Canada's First Nations people, but the kind of posturing that they're involved in is shown to be a lie, you know, once you broaden it out and see if it applies to other injustices and abuses and hypocrisy that they're responsible for themselves. So we'll see. It's going to be interesting how full of bullshit this latest wayside pulpit is. Our spiritual community welcomes, nurtures, inspires, challenges. Together we take action in the world. Well, yeah, part of the action they take in the world is to misuse blasphemy law to cover up such despicable crimes as pedophilia and rape. Now, I'm saying that in terms of the greater spiritual community of the greater Unitarian Universalist religious community in North America, and its representatives in Boston, the Unitarian Universalist Association. But yes, one of the actions that the Unitarian Universalist Association takes in the world is to threaten to have me charged with the criminal act of blasphemous libel and Bill Cosby-style legal bullying that seeks to cover up and hide such despicable crimes as pedophilia and rape committed by certain Unitarian Universalist ministers. So they're taking down all this truth and reconciliation stuff, which in the terms of truth and reconciliation, in terms of injustice and abuses committed by A, the Unitarian Church of Montreal, and B, the larger Unitarian Universalist religious community, is completely and utterly false. They do nothing of the sort in terms of what was written there. So okay, so they got a French version of the same thing that I just read out. Notre communauté spirituelle accueille, nourrit, inspire, stimule, ensemble, nous agissons dans le monde. Well, chances are pretty good that we will soon see how they act in the world when they erase my chalk slogans that expose, you know, Unitarian Universalist clergy abuse cover-up. I've got 3 down on the sidewalk right now, and I might make 1 or 2 more. But yes, it's kind of symbolic that they're taking down the truth and reconciliation stuff and putting up more false advertising. And it's incredibly vague, you know, when you think about it. You know, when you think about what this says, you know, our spiritual community welcomes, nurtures, inspires, challenges. Together we take action in the world. Well, you know, they could be taking evil action in the world, and that would be just as true. You know, they could be, you know, nurturing evil. They could be inspiring evil. You know, they could be challenging justice. You know, that could be the action that they take in the world. And in fact, they do welcome abusive Unitarian Universalist ministers. They do nurture abusive Unitarian Universalist ministers. They do even inspire abusive Unitarian Universalist ministers. And they challenge, you know, pretty much anyone who speaks out against Unitarian Universalist clergy abuse. So yeah, together, they do take action in the world. Together, Reverend Dr. Victoria Weinstein conspired with UUA President Reverend Dr. Peter Morales and UUA Executive Vice President Kathleen K. Montgomery to have the Unitarian Universalist Association hire Stikeman Elliott barristers and solicitors to falsely accuse me of not only blasphemous libel for blogging about Unitarian Universalist pedophiles and rapists, but also to falsely accuse me of sexual harassment of Reverend Dr. Victoria Weinstein, also known as Peace Bang, for criticizing her sadistic and obscene sodomy fantasy, which imagined South Dakota State Senator Bill Napoli anally impaled on the Statue of Liberty's torch. That's pretty well an exact quote of Reverend Dr. Victoria Weinstein's sodomy fantasy. And the UUA hired Stikeman Elliott to try to pretend that my criticism of that sodomy fantasy constituted threatening and defamatory conduct amounting to sexual harassment of Reverend Dr. Victoria Weinstein. Well, I don't know about the UUA's lawyer, but I think most people would agree that Reverend Dr. Victoria Weinstein's sodomy fantasy, specifically, and here's the full quote, "Here's my sodomy fantasy, South Dakota State Senator Bill Napoli anally impaled on the Statue of Liberty's torch." That sounds a lot like threatening and defamatory conduct amounting to sexual harassment of here they come with the hose, of South Dakota State Senator Bill Napoli. So here where they're going to try and hide the fact that Unitarian Universalists cover up clergy abuse, but in erasing this slogan, they're actually going to be participating in Unitarian Universalist cover-up of clergy abuse. So here we have, as I said, the husband of the minister, Diane Rollert. We have Aurelian Geary, who's stolen my picket signs in the past. We have, Nancy Lorimer, I believe, in the yellow coat at the back there. I think that's Nancy Lorimer, a former employee of the Gazette, who I think has been probably quite instrumental in ensuring that the Gazette never reported on any aspect of this protest. And then the woman with the white hair, whose name I forget, is a former president of the board. So we have fairly prominent members of the church here, and in that they're getting that hose out, it looks to me like they're probably getting ready to try and erase my chalk slogan here, to say nothing of some of the other ones. Unitarian Universalists cover up clergy abuse. So if and when they erase this slogan, which makes it clear that Unitarian Universalists do in fact cover up clergy abuse committed by Unitarian Universalist ministers, well, they'll be knowing and willful participants in the cover-up of clergy abuse committed by Unitarian Universalist ministers. So this guy with the cane's coming over. Not quite sure who he is. And so it looks like you want to be a participant in cover-up and denial of such despicable crimes as pedophilia and rape committed by Unitarian Universalist ministers, and you want to cover up and hide the fact that the Unitarian Universalist Association misuses blasphemy law to cover up and hide clergy abuse. Indeed, such despicable crimes as pedophilia and rape committed by Unitarian Universalist ministers like, what's his name again? Oh yes, Reverend Mac Wallace Mitchell, to name one of them. But there's others. There's other pedophile Unitarian Universalist ministers, sir, that you're trying to hide the fact that your church has a bit of a clergy sex abuse problem. So I hope you're very proud of yourself in violating most Unitarian Universalist principles in doing that. So again, I don't know quite who this guy is. I suspect he's the new president of the congregation, but I don't know that for sure. This guy's currently anonymous. So here he goes. Here's how Unitarian Universalists act in the world. They erase slogans that say Unitarian Universalists misuse blasphemy law to cover up rape. That's one way how Unitarian Universalists act in the world. They engage in egregious censorship and suppression of peaceful public protest against Unitarian Universalist clergy sex abuse. So yes, this guy seems, totally nonchalant, doesn't care at all that he's hiding the truth about pedophilia and rape committed by Unitarian Universalist ministers. Doesn't care about the fact that he's covering up the fact that Unitarian Universalists hire Stikeman Elliott lawyers to falsely accuse people of crimes in efforts to intimidate them into removing blog posts to tell the truth about pedophilia and rape committed by Unitarian Universalist ministers. So yes, top-level prominent members of the Unitarian Church of Montreal engaged in covering up and hiding the fact that the Unitarian Universalist spiritual community, to use their term, on that new wayside pulpit, which I also refer to as a wayward pulpit because it's usually complete hypocrisy. What? Yeah, welcome back. Yeah, thanks for welcoming me. So, yeah, so David's just doing the big smooch thing. And, yeah, that's what I like about these people is they're totally oblivious to their own hypocrisy and their own, you know, cover-up and denial of pedophilia and rape committed by Unitarian Universalist ministers, to say nothing of Unitarian Universalist Sunday school teachers, and to say nothing of, you know, Unitarian Universalist lay leaders. So, do you have a name, sir? You prepared to put your name beside what you just did? Are you prepared to say, yes, I'm proud of what I did and here's my name? I didn't think so, because you're probably deep down inside not very proud of what you did. Because deep down inside you know that you're participating in the cover-up and denial of pedophilia and rape committed by Unitarian Universalist ministers when you erase my slogans. That's why you don't want to give me your name, sir. Now, you can stare at me all you want, sir, because you're the one who's on the wrong side of the moral and ethical divide. You know, I am protesting against not only clergy sex abuse, but cover-up and denial thereof by your so-called religious community. And you're the one who's participating in covering up and hiding pedophilia and rape and other clergy sex abuse. So, to say nothing of non-sexual forms of clergy abuse. So I hope you're very, very proud of yourself, but I expect you're not, because if you were proud, you'd put your name beside your actions. And yes, thanks for doing such a good job of showing how Unitarians act in the world. Yeah. Our spiritual community welcomes, nourishes, inspires, stimulates. Together we act in the world. And we just saw how Montreal Unitarians act in the world. And you can just go on the internet and Google Unitarian Universalist blasphemous libel to see how the greater Unitarian Universalist religious community acts in the world to cover up such despicable crimes as pedophilia and rape committed by certain Unitarian Universalist ministers, including Reverend Mac Wallace Mitchell and other Unitarian Universalist ministers who commit either pedophilia or rape, or a combination of both. And to say nothing again of Unitarian Universalist religious educators, also known as Sunday school teachers, who engage in pedophilia and rape, or both, together at the same time. That's what I'm saying. Yes, Stephen Craig Bullite, Unitarian Universalist religious educator, was charged, tried, and convicted of raping preteen boys. So yeah, I think that counts as engaging in such despicable crimes as pedophilia and rape at the same time. And these people just, you know, totally don't care about that. They just want to cover it up and hide it. The guy's having trouble looking into the camera now. You want to look in the camera again, sir? We can see your face? Okay, that's pretty good, yeah. Now, at least you'll do that. But I wouldn't be proud of myself if I was you, sir. I would not be proud. Oh, and there's Reverend Diane Rollert. There's Reverend Diane Rollert in the background, the minister who claims to be deathly afraid of me. She claims that she fears for her safety, and yet she doesn't seem to mind walking out to within close proximity of me here. So we got Reverend Diane Rollert, you know, about 10 feet away now. The minister who claims to be very, very afraid of me. Doesn't seem very afraid of me right now. Smiling, happy, greeting people. Oh, there she is.
You're okay now.
So, Diane, are you still very, very, very frightened of me as you claimed back in 2008, 2007? Are you still terribly, terribly afraid of me? Oh, I don't exist. I forgot. Yeah, she doesn't know I'm here. I'm invisible. That's why she's not afraid. So look at all these people. Yes, they're out in front making a very public show of solidarity. Well, yeah, they're all in solidarity with the Unitarian Universalist Association's misuse of blasphemy law to cover up pedophilia and rape. It's been such a gorgeous summer. Indeed it has. Might be partly because I didn't protest this summer. So anyhow, we got the church, you know, out in force in public. This is very rare. This is not normal for so many people to be out in public, and oh yeah, there they are waving and smiling. Yeah, so that's it. Smile to the protester, pretend nothing's wrong. So Diane, you didn't answer my question. Are you still very, very, very frightened of me? Or were you just lying when you told the police you were very frightened of me? Is that a possibility, Diane? Oh, Diane. See, I'm a non-person. I don't exist to Diane. She just pretends I'm not here. Yeah, Diane's doing an excellent job of living up to the first principle of Unitarian Universalism, to say nothing of the other ones, by totally pretending I'm not even here today. So, yeah, this is actually typical behavior of Unitarian Universalists when it comes to people who, you know, speak about clergy abuse in general and clergy sex abuse in particular. They basically shun them, they pretend they're non-people, they do everything they can to silence them. And yeah, so here's all these Unitarian Universalists, you know, out chattering and kissing and smiling, and yet every single one of them, every single one of the people here are totally complicit